Hi, everyone. Welcome to People Watch, the official podcast of the People Management Association of the Philippines. Here, there are no motherhood statements, no hiding behind obsolete theories and adages, and no time to beat around the bush. Just real talk with real people. I'm Joan Chung, and I'll be hosting this show by myself today. Normally, Jove is here, but like revenge travel is real. But ano rin, revenge hosting is real too. Right. So today we will talk about the girl on fire. 'Di ba? Ano ba to? Igniting the fire inside us. Sometimes we feel na parang ano tayo, wala na tayong energy, wala tayong drive to push forward. How do we reignite that fire inside us? Joining us today is an expert in neuro-linguistic programming. She is the peak performance speaker, and siguro we'll discuss her many accomplishments later on during the conversation. So without further ado, let's bring in Coach Cherry Africa, the girl on fire. Hi, Coach.
Hi, Joanne. Thank you for inviting me to your show.
Yeah, and thank you for accepting. We are so excited to hear about this. Uh, Paano ba? Let's dive right in, no? Why are you known as the girl on fire?
Um, well, number one, because of the movie, right? It's a perfect metaphor to describe basically the passion and excitement that I'd like to pull people into the orbit that we're trying to build. Girl on Fire started really not just metaphorically but also
Uh-huh.
physically because we walk on fire as a team. We've been using firewalk, and that is literally walking on a bed of fire, 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit, for people to transcend their fear. And there is so much fear in the workplace. This is
Right.
basically where we are. We are workplace experts. We want to understand people more and what's holding them back towards their peak performance. One of the things we found out in our studies really it's fear. It's the fear of
Mm-hmm.
commitment, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of rejections. All of these are invented stories in the head that we want people to get rid of, no, to throw them away so that they could just appear and show up in their natural, solid versions, in their raw emotions, and start performing without holding back. So that's where
Grabe.
Girl on Fire started, Joanne. And then after that, because the effect has always been to bring out, no, to spark that fire inside the soul, to release it even in the workplace. The people have started calling me the Girl on Fire.
Alam mo, I've attended one of Coach Cherry's programs before, and all I can say is totoo na you will really come out parang burning, no? Kasi yun nga, we've tried that fire walk and it was really scary at first, no? Pero I really like that you like sort of really pumped up everyone and try to destroy those fears before we
Mhm.
did that walk. Kasi yung walk is parang yung culminating activity natin, di ba?
Yes, Joe, I remember your stories. It has stuck with me. After the day after the firewalk, and you would tell all of these stories of how you probably invited more positivity into your day.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Oo,
Uh,
kasi ano yan eh, I remember na one of the topics that we had was parang dominant thought, no? And
mhm.
that time, no, share ko lang sa listeners natin, no, na I wanted to really see the Northern Lights that time. So parang yun yung ni-welcome ko in my mind. And really right after that session, that day, hindi pa nga tapos yung program eh. That was a 3-day program. And I think that was the second, no, part of the second day. Tapos that day pa lang, parang nakatanggap ako ng invitation and it had Northern Lights na design sa invitation. Sabi ko, oh my gosh, goosebumps talaga ako. Kasi talagang nag-manifest siya agad. No?
Yes.
So
Mhm.
that was such a mind-blowing experience for me.
Yes. It's really just making thought intentional, right? I mean, you would have received
Mm.
the invitation anyway, perhaps, right? But now that you are able to associate and connect because you are finding it, the moment you declare it to the universe, your unconscious mind is going to unconsciously find a way to give it to you, because that's the role of the unconscious mind, to be the servant. It's like a genie in the lamp, right? You start to think about it, the genie's gonna say, okay, you tell me what you want, I'm going to manifest it in your life. I mean, it's manifestation, it's law of attraction to other people. It's really just becoming you, becoming a garden, so that more butterflies will come into your life.
That's
And
so good. Yeah.
yeah, and that has been
Galing.
the real purpose of my life's work, Joanne. To really try within my power and realm of influence to try and draw people to their original versions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we are perfect, we are positive, we are gifted, and we need to open our channel so that more will experience more of what we have to offer in life.
So it's really just opening it up kasi nandiyan na siya lahat, no, inside
Yeah.
us, no?
When you say nandiyan na lahat, Joanne, I mean, there are raw energies, raw skills, and intentions, right? I mean,
Uh-huh.
of course, you need to be skilled up. We need to be, open for coaching, for mentorship. But it all begins within our intentions, eh? And we should not be
Mhm.
accidents in this world. Even when we go to the workplace, when we try and apologize for so many things, hihingi ka ng pasensya parate for the words that you said, when in the first place, we were meant to have impeccable speech and thought. But we tend to, right? I mean, sometimes life just happens, work happens, so many things just pile up, emotions get repressed, and then, in just one accident there's a catastrophe that's going to happen because
Mm.
somebody triggered it. um we need to start being a little bit more conscious about the emotions that we invite into our system,
Yeah.
because they could destroy, they could destroy us unconsciously.
So is this what NLP is all about? Neuro-linguistic programming, no? How is it connected to what you're doing?
Neuro-linguistic programming, I mean, NLP is not just everything that I do, but it really occupies a huge part of my principles right now.
Mhm.
uh NLP stands for just three things, no? Neuro, linguistic, and programming. Now, neuro means really mindset, and I have seen it and not just studied it, that how everything, all our behaviors, the genesis of which is the thought, right? The things that happen around us and that we make happen will all be influenced by the unconscious thoughts inside our mind. So mindset is
Mhm.
everything, right? And then
Yeah.
mindset affects your language, because no matter how you choose your words, sometimes a few words will accidentally, just come out, even behaviors perhaps or micro expressions, because they're all inspired by the mindset that you hold. And finally, when you talk about programming, you're really not talking about, that brainwashing or something that NLP has been, you know, uh, wrongly
Or
connected with,
labeled, no?
labeled. When you say programs, it just means we have habits. We have programs. A lot of
Uh-huh.
them are conscious, programmed from years and years and years, right? Of conditioning through our families, through school, through cultures, all other, through our values. And then we become
Uh-huh.
like automatic programs. We become autopilot, and we do things. We behave in ways that are just automatic. And so if our behaviors are not helping us get closer to our goals, self-reflection and mindfulness must
Mhm.
guide us, so that we could then be conscious about the programs that we need to change and be more flexible about, so that we could actually achieve our goals better and faster. So
And
it's just,
what can help us with that, no? Paano 'pag, kunyari ako, if I have not stumbled into your program, 'di ba? How will I even, siguro I don't know, eh, kasi ano ba 'to, in-attract ko kaya na-stumble ako sa program mo, 'di ba? So, how does that work? Paano yung sa mga iba na they don't even have any idea of how to get this, how to make this happen?
I think, Joanne, NLP just makes it intelligent and just gives you the vocabulary, but we know that, right?
Mm,
We
right.
know that we have beliefs, we know that, our communication can create conflicts, but it could also heal wounds, uh,
Mhm,
bridge, right? We know that. We know that our programs are, important. I mean, there's 7 habits that tells, which is like everywhere, right? So we know
yeah.
that. I think the NLP just organizes it, gives you
Mhm,
proper names, right? Give you proper names so that then, okay, I know where I am. I know my current state and I know my future state and I have words for that. And the beauty about NLP is that we have tools. You realize you need to change one aspect of your life or your behavior at work or your mindset. Then
Uh-huh.
the moment you just adjust it, something changes. It's just a 1 millimeter move. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and and NLP has a lot of what we call presuppositions or assumptions that are not proven to be true. But if you decide to believe that, you could change, whatever it is that you want to change. And change doesn't have to happen in years. It could happen in seconds.
Right.
And the power of mind, the power of intention, the power of having a target, right? And not just waking up like an accident in the morning. Uh,
So parang
every
purpose, no?
purpose, yes.
Yeah.
Purpose and catalyzing, I guess, Joanne, right? Purpose is such a big word that some
Mm-hmm.
people get overwhelmed by it, right? I mean, a
Yeah.
future state is overwhelming when there are no present capabilities that will make it
Uh-huh.
happen, right? You're just saying, oh, it's just daydreaming and something. So I think one of the skills that we need to also learn is how to catalyze the future state, the purpose, the
Mm-hmm.
target into our everyday life. And it's also a challenge for leaders, right? When you start to actually talk about your goals, your aspirations, your sales target, the people in
Yeah.
the ranks who needed to actually drive the ambition will be overwhelmed. And overwhelmed is such a cheap word right now. Everyone is using it, right? I'm overwhelmed. I am disconnecting. I'm quietly quitting. I did not sign up for this. Uh, when our spirits are very ready to actually catch this overwhelm and release our
Mm-hmm.
best version. Uh, we have that, but we sometimes hesitate to commit, right? In relationships, professional relationships, personal relationships, because we are afraid we will burn
Uh-huh.
uh, out. There's a word burn, right? So
Ibang klaseng burn naman yan.
ibang klaseng burn, di ba? But the genesis is the same, right? Being fired up and
Yeah.
being burnt out comes from a fire, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
need to quit, and then you need to surprise yourself at the end of the journey. Hey, look, I'm so much better right now.
Phoenix
Uh,
ka pala. You rise from the
Phoenix ka
ashes.
pala, yes, rise from the ashes, rebirth yourself. Kill the version that does not work.
Uh-huh.
Intentionally wake up again. All of these things. Are part of our biology. I mean, it's all in us. We just need to awaken that. And I guess that's a role of leaders, Joanne, that they needed to help people see better. Uh,
Right. Wow.
inspire that perspective.
Uh-huh.
So that more will be better. I think that's our role, right? As leaders and in my age, as ancestors, to make
Oh,
sure that
for leaders,
go ahead.
how do they where do they start? Where do
I,
leaders start? Some are 'di ba? Some are have been leaders for a long time, but still bring yung mga old ways of doing things, 'di ba? But your technique is like what you're saying, we know this, right? But you just have to be more conscious about it, purposive, maybe,
mm,
'di ba?
yes.
So
Mm.
that we can bring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
So
I- Joanne, I
yeah,
think in the olden times, right? I mean, we have been taught. I have been taught the collective. Now we're not the same age. Okay, I have been taught that the best way to lead is through command and control. You set the directions with clarity, and then everyone will know where to go. And then you tell them what to do, they will do. It's like a factory. Right now, it's an awkward pivot for leaders because you're being asked to lead, to coach, to mentor, but we don't have the tools to do that because we were not taught the tools and we were not led that way. We only know what we know, right?
yeah,
And knowing and learning or trying to try something that we don't know require that we forget ego, right? There's
uh-huh,
like leaders like I already know, been there, done that. Just listen to me. You won't burn, but they will burn. Right, they will burn. Times have changed and it's hard. So I guess the answer to that is for the leader to know his or her purpose, right? And the moment you commit to the leadership journey or mission of helping other people succeed so that the organization becomes better than you found it, one of the states that the leader may welcome in his system is that learning state. You know, Socrates said, I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing. I don't know anything.
Baligtad eh, no? Parang ano,
Oo.
ironically or paradoxically, yun pala dapat
Oh,
so
oh
that
yes.
you'd learn more.
How do you sit in a boardroom, or how do you sit in a meeting, right? Knowing that you probably know the answer to the presentation being done, and
Mhm.
yet you need to ask questions. Is it
Yeah.
faking it? Is it faking that you don't know, so other people just participate because they could see through that. They could see that
Yeah.
you are asking a question just because you wanted to inspire conversation. But is it really because you don't know, right? And you genuinely want to learn from the wisdom of the collective, that at the end of the day, the leader is not the most intelligent in the room. It's the room that's the most intelligent. And the role of
Mhm.
the leader is just to facilitate the process so that this intelligence come out. We know how to do that as leaders. So that is how do you then uh, integrate this into your way of working, and facilitate the process, so
Yeah.
that more young people will be involved in the journey.
Grabe. Alam mo, what really interests me apart from yung sharing mo, no, is also your story. How you got into this in the first place. I understand that you have trained with Anthony Robbins before.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you get there?
As a coach, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, it started as an accident, Joanne. I really all my working life prior to becoming an NLP trainer, I've been really more, I grew up in a business setting. I started my career in Procter and Gamble, so it's really very
Mhm.
much marketing business mindset. It's all commercial, and then after which I endeavored to create my own different enterprises. So it's really inspired by my great mom, my great ancestor. I was really very
Mhm.
business minded and all. When I moved to Singapore, because my husband was expatriated there, I got lost. I didn't know my purpose. And I guess it is in that state of chaos where you
Uh-huh.
could actually explode, uh, rant, throw a tantrum, or you could really find your way. So it was a difficult process for me because I experienced both. I experienced that chaos and I was not comfortable in that chaos. And so I took it out on other people
Mhm.
by ranting about the situation I was forced to be in without my choice. But it really was my choice. And that's when, in being lost, that I looked for a coach. I looked
Okay.
for a coach. I needed somebody to talk to who could help me, find myself again. In that process, I then realized that, I could be a coach. I
Uh-huh.
can help other people because I have some raw gifts that I can actually prune and polish more.
Yeah.
And one of the processes would be NLP. I mean, in Singapore, NLP is in, almost in the mainstream also. And
Mhm.
so I learned more about that. I devoted years into just studying. And then when it was time, I said, I'm going to practice it. So I started with small groups. It was hard at the very, very start. It's hard to have nothing, Joanne, except
Right.
an intention and a purpose, right? It's always hard to start from 0 to 1. But the moment it became one, it was easy to scale it up. And so,
Uh-huh.
gave a lot of, practiced also my skills in pro bono sessions. I was do coaching and everything.
Uh-huh.
And then somehow when the message lands and have an impact, and I would see that other people are actually growing,
Mhm.
realize I needed to do this as a purpose. And that's when, years after, I decided to my husband and I decided it's time to go back home.
Okay.
It's time to go back home. So 2012, after 14 years of living overseas, we both decided to pluck ourselves out of a surreal experience and bring ourselves back to reality. It was a big, big challenge to start in the Philippines. Uh, but looking at where I am right now, and when I connect the dots, everything just made sense. Everything
Mm-hmm.
just so right now I think in my wellspring. I love what I'm doing. I love going to work. Mondays are exciting to me because it means that I have 5, 6 more days to actually just practice my skills, help people, feed my soul. And that's
So
been what
good.
I've been doing, Joanne, trying to find ways to bring fire back to the workplace. We're fighting a lot of demons and a lot of negative energies in the workplace. We have a lot of tools we can share. So we're doing it one company at a time, one person at a time.
Yeah, that's so inspiring. 'Di ba? Parang from chaos, from nothing, and then something. No, and it's always that single, like what you said, like 1 millimeter move. No, once you get to that momentum na siya,
Yes.
it moves forward already.
Ako, the perfect metaphor I would say, and I'd always tell my team, because especially young people will every now and then tell me, you're overwhelming me, or your
Mhm.
dreams are overwhelming, or the targets are
Yeah.
overwhelming. I'm gonna tell them, you look, I'm giving you a watermelon. At the end of the day, you cannot eat that in one bite. The way to do that is to de-chunk, is to dissect, is to
Yeah.
compress. You're gonna slice it up and you're gonna bite it one slice at a time. And I guess that's how we do it, right? I mean, we have dreams. Some of us would, when I ask people their dreams, it's always a home. It's always, buying a car perhaps for younger people, and farm lots or something, or happy
Mhm.
family at the end of the day. And then you look at your current state and you feel like, hey, I don't have the capacity to do that right now. You count your salary, even if I times 12 it, even if I put an upside to it, it's not gonna happen in 5 years. And then you start to get depressed and you don't even try at all,
Yeah.
right? And the answer to that is really just to have a plan. It's to just have one watermelon at a time, because the moment you do well in biting that watermelon, people, and the moment you shape or you prune your skills and you draw people to your orbit,
Mhm.
it's exponential. The change is exponential. You can't just multiply it by the number of months and then see where you are. I mean,
Yeah.
there's multiplication, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In your results. So you have to
Yeah.
we have to be open to surprising ourselves, no, when we commit ourselves to certain things.
Wow. So siguro ano no, to our listeners, uh maybe we can share how to reach you, Coach Cherry.
Mm.
Kasi ang daming, alam mo, there's so much more for us to talk about, but our time is so limited. And maybe you can share maybe a website or where to reach you so that they know how to get in touch with you should they need help.
Yes. Website is cherryafrica.com. I am present in all social media, in
Mhm.
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram,
And you have
TikTok.
your own
Also.
podcast. You have your own
Podcast.
podcast too, right?
Yes, the podcast is the Awakener podcast. It's in Spotify or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Very easy. I mean, I'm present everywhere, so I guess very easy to reach me.
Right.
So
So,
yeah.
thank you so much for your time today. Nako, bitin na bitin ako. Marami pa akong gustong tanungin kasi ang daming learning. Like may ano pa, different kinds of brain. Ang dami pang yung mga self-limiting beliefs niya, how to destroy them. No? So, ang dami pa yung mga, and there's also a lot of language that you use, no? Different uh, words to really fire up that day. But maybe we can do that some other time. Maybe we
Yes,
can have
yes.
another episode for that.
Yes, perfect. Yes, I would be happy.
All right.
Talking with Joanne is always brilliant and positive. So I also welcome that. So thank you so much for
Thank you.
inviting.
It's always refreshing for me as well.
Mhm. Okay,
All
perfect.
right. Thank you. So till next time.
Yes.
Now, I hope guys you enjoyed the podcast today, the episode today, and we'll see you soon. I'd like to thank our technical support, our team behind the scenes, Mark Fernandez, Ms. Darren Niguas, our president, Ms. Beth Nasol, and of course, thank you, dear listener, wherever in the world you are. This is People Watch. Perspectives matter. See you on our next episode. Bye.